is Ishu. I'm a senior product specialist with cmBuilder. So today I will be talking about the cmBuilder platform, and I'll be going over this product demonstration and showing you how you can use this tool for site logistics and simulation. And again, for new members joining, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to use the Q&A section or the chat. They're all open. You can also use your mic and you can interrupt me throughout this presentation at any moment. And yeah. So what is cmBuilder? It's a fully web-based 3D site logistics 4D simulation platform. It's all running in the browser. And I'm going to start with a finish with an output to show exactly what it's going to look like. And then also create a new project from scratch and show you how do you reach to this final output. So what you're looking at the screen is what is cmBuilder. I'm using Chrome. I do have a couple tabs open in different browsers, but Chrome is the recommended one. And all you have to do, just enter the address, you dive in there, it's gonna generate this map tile. And I'll talk about the details of the looks what you're seeing up here, but it generates the map tile with the surrounding building information. And then you can bring a lot of artifacts from your end, like 3D models, your schedule for programs that you have, or if you want to bring drawings, multiple different drawings you can bring in here, and you combine all of them together to create your own logistics plan for every single phase. So here, what you're seeing on the screen, it's a high-rise building example, and I can filter and pass through different stages to show exactly how and what my site is going to look like, where my crane location, my hoist location, my access, egress, traffic management, safety. It's all about visualizing. It's all about communication or communicating the plans to the stakeholders. So you're creating your content, you're creating and authoring your logistics plan directly in the browser. And all these equipments, what you see up here, like mobile cranes or the tower cranes, they're all coming from a drag and drop library. So cmBuilder, being web-based, we have our own resource catalog, and I'll talk about them in a moment. But essentially, all your equipments, hoists, vehicles, all think construction, it's all coming from this drag and drop library. You can place them on the map, and once you combine those resources with the 3D models and the map, and you start adding labels, you come up with a sequence of the simulation of exactly what your job site is going to look like. So you're building and planning before even the job is being built, and at the end, what you do, you go hit share, and there are many different ways how you can consume the output, how you can share the outputs to the stakeholders. So I'll talk about them in a detail, but you can export a PDF, you can export an image, you can export a video. So all the work that you're creating in here, your logistics plan, you're building them in here, you can export out of cmBuilder and share to the world to communicate. So it's the biggest value drivers are speed and ease of use. So that's where cmBuilder comes in. Mostly what we have seen in the industry, it's still 2D based, marking things up to create those logistics plans. We are trying to elevate for the same group of users, not only just the BIM folks, even if you don't have BIM background, a lot of estimators, superintendents, project managers, they're coming in here and quickly being able to create the plans. That's what they're doing in cmBuilder. So yeah, it's quick, simple, easy, fast enough, quickly create these logistics plan. And that's what cmBuilder, that's a quick gist of cmBuilder. So what I'll do now is I'll jump to an empty site over here, and I'll create a new project from scratch. So let's go. I'm going to name this one as an open demo, APAC. And when you're creating a new project, you can at any time, you can pick, let's say you're in the planning phase. A lot of times users using pre-con, early stage planning, but you can also carry it forward in the construction phases as well. So let's pick the status of the job. And because cmBuilder is an unlimited user platform, there is no concept of per seat licensing. You can pick, if you want, let's say you're working on a government job, you can pick it as a closed project, have that confidentiality, or if you want, just pick org wide and it just defaults to the normal user permissions for your company. So step number one is setting up a 3D map tile. So you enter the address anywhere in the world. So let's say if I want to go to Melbourne, Australia, you can enter the address of any part of the world. Just gonna take you up there, and the satellite imagery what you're seeing here is coming from Mapbox. So Mapbox is a similar sat image provider to Google Earth. And once you have the visuals, you can move around and figure exactly where your job site is going to be. Let's say I'm going to hover over this stadium. You can pick the size of the map tile, you hit generate 3D map, and instantly in a few clicks, it just generates the topographic map tile with that information of the surrounding buildings automatically generated based off the address that you would enter. Now, this topographic map tile, it's very customizable. You're not just stuck with it. So these elevations, what you're seeing up here, they're coming in from the satellite scan. And for 99% of the users, it's pretty good. But there are ways in the product I'll talk about. You can redo the topography. You can bring in your own survey map. You can bring in contour map drawing, or let's say you're getting a scan of your side surface scan. You can redo that topography and make it more accurate. Uh, but by default, let's say I'm going to pick topographic over here. You can change the thickness of the map tile, and you hit apply. And then what it does, it just take you to the main page, the main viewer page, and this is where you're going to be building up your logistics plans and directly in the browser. Now, most of the users, what they would do at this point, they would like to, if they want to improve the looks of it, they can do that. But these surrounding buildings, what you're seeing on the screen, for example, this Victoria Point, I can totally control and change the height of these buildings. I can move them around. I can delete them if I want to. So not just stuck. It's a very modular kind of tool. You can move things, but also in terms of like improving the looks, if you have some new artifacts from your end, so say if you're flying drones on your job, if you're getting those highly detailed, crisp orthomosaic image, just like the one I have on my screen over here, you can import them. So any PDF, JPEG, or PNG files, you can bring all of them inside cmBuilder. We have a project on terrain feature. You can lay those images, those 2D files flat on the map. And also, speaking of when we're talking about drones, if you're into those reality capture workflows, you're flying drones, you're getting those scans in here, you can bring all those files inside cmBuilder and then drag and drop these resources from the cmBuilder library to define exactly, okay, how and where these equipments are staged. So you can work with those workflows. And if I continue in this project, okay, once the demolition has been done, the preparation work, the piling, different part of the job. So you can improve bringing in those artifacts from your end. And speaking of the surrounding buildings, we now can have a way for you to import the surrounding buildings from Google Earth as well. So it's a very quick workflow from Blender. You can bring in those mesh files, these surrounding buildings. We brought them as an FBX, and it's a quick process. So now that I have my site all set up, I have a 3D model here. I'm going to be taking this as an example to demonstrate how you can build up your logistics plan. I also do have a drawing. So once this is all set up, and this is where I say maybe this is the part of the job where, maybe the more designed team, or, more tech savvy, those individuals can help in setting up the job. But normally they can, at this stage, you can pass this to users who not maybe not that tech savvy, but they can come in here and start working on, okay, now let's start doing the planning portion. So here, say I'm the persona of a project engineer or an estimator. I'm trying to figure out, okay, what all I would be needing, the logistics, or even a superintendent. I can go in this 2D view. It's going to give me like the top-down view, and then I'll pull up this resources and equipment library. So this library is built in cmBuilder. It's all in the browser, and there are different categories: equipments, logistics. It's a very extensive library comprising of both parametric and non-parametric objects over here. And the easiest way I like to do is just go in the search bar, type in the kind of resource I want to use. Let's say fence. It's going to pull up different kinds of fences available in the library. And then let's pick one over here, let's say construction site hoarding. And this is where you notice like cmBuilder being an authoring tool, your cursor changes into a pen tool. and you have different sketch options on the right hand side: line, arc, circle, rectangle. So let's say I'm going to start sketching something on the map over here. I'm following my drawing. You can follow the drawings over there. You hit confirm, and instantly it's going to give you some data like the panel length, the total panel quantities based off what you just sketched on the map. And if I go back in 3D, I can now view where exactly my fence panels are. And we have this properties tab. You can start changing the different properties. You can change the colors of your fence. You can also bring in your own company logos as well. So here, if you want to have a branding applied on different resources, so the branding feature comes built in with the resources, and it can be turned on. It depends on your subscription level, but you can have that branding on different equipments like trailers, cranes, mobile cranes. So that branding comes built in. Same idea, let's say vehicular access. I want to define my pedestrian access, how that's going to look like. Where should I be placing my gates on my job site? So I can just add, let's say, this metal mesh sliding gate, and being parametric in nature, I can turn on those adjustment handles. I can view them. I can start changing the heights, the opening width of the gates. So that's pretty much how you work with the resources. Just simple drag and drop from the library, and it's a very extensive library. I'll talk about more resources as I start building up this job, but simple drag and drop, no coding required, and has to be quick and easy to use as well. I'm going to hide the model, and again, reminder, if there are any questions, please pop them in the chat, and or you can use your microphone as well, and stop me anytime if you have any questions. Okay, so the next step, a lot of times what users would like to do as they're trying to build up their site, in the site prep phase, different space allocations over there. So let's say I'm gonna assign some zones in my area, so I can quickly just go draw, maybe this is my loading area, hit confirm. I can attach a property. It's gonna give me the area value as well. And you can apply some textures, so gravel, grass, asphalt, dirt, concrete, or sand over there. And these different textures, they allow you to have much better appearance on your site. There's much better outputs at the end in the form of presentations, because it's all about the visuals. And with the zones, I like to combine these 3D labels as well. So I can apply a label to define what area of that zone is. So let's say this is my loading area. I can project this on terrain. So it doesn't has to be a flat map. If it's a topographic map, you can have that label draped to that topographic map. You can change different colors, different sizes over there. Maybe this corner of my site is where I'm planning to sit all the cabins and trailers on my job site, so I can plan to do that as well. And if, for example, and most of the times these objects, you will see these handles pop up. So what that means, you can move them anywhere you want. Let's say this is where all my site cabins, I can project this on the terrain as well. I can change the colors if I want to. And next up, let's bring in a couple cabins. I like to use the stacked containers. Again, going to the search bar, just typing in stacked, double stack container office style, drag and drop. If you want to have apply branding, you can pick your logos and choose different positions and where you want to have that branding applied. I can also duplicate. So talking about speed and ease of use, you can also copy and paste these different objects over there. And that's how you start building up your site logistics for your area. Like I can keep going, mustard point, material storages, but you get the idea. Simple drag and drop, and that's how you work with the resource library. Okay, so next up, let's talk about the phasing. So this phasing, what you see at the top, it says MS1, and that MS1 means milestone. So think of milestone inside cmBuilder defines what your site is going to look like on that date. So I can either just pick a new milestone, pick a date from the calendar, and define this is where I'm going to start talking about my excavation phase one. And I just added a new milestone in there. And you can keep adding these manually, or to speed things up, you can also import your own program. So we accept many different file types, you know, like Asta project, P6, Microsoft projects. And once you import those programs inside cmBuilder, it's going to extract all the tasks and the dates from your program, and it's up to you to define, to pick which ones do you want to visualize in cmBuilder. So I'm just going to pick a few of them. Let's say excavation stage 2, my foundation pours, my podium level 8, and then I want to visualize my final full tower after my weather tight facade. And once you do that, what it's going to do, it's going to say, okay, these are the new tasks. It recognizes them and just creates milestones with those names and tasks. And it's not only you're uploading the program for the first time. We all know the program, the dates, they keep changing. So if you have an updated program in a month's time, you can always update your schedules. We have a dedicated button, update schedule. You can re-upload the program. It does the math behind the scenes, and basically it's a schedule sync feature, so you don't have to worry about making the changes. So all in all, you will see soon that everything inside cmBuilder is linked to these milestones. It's all linked to the dates. So all these resources and even the elements of the models I'm going to talk next, they're all tied to these milestones. So if your program changes, you can update your program, and these connections, they will be remapped automatically. So that's what the schedule sync feature does, and you don't have to worry about remapping them again and again. Okay, so now that I have my milestones built in over here, all I have to do is just go inside each of them and define, create content, author, plan exactly what my site is going to look like. So when I'm on my excavation phase 1, I can swap my drawing, bring in a geotechnical drawing, and I'm just going to do a quick 2-cut sequence to define your excavation plan. So assuming I have a geotechnical or foundation drawing, I can start sketching my cuts, how they're going to look like. And once you draw a cut over here, you can define, you can control the the depth of the cut. And I just realized I'm in feet, so I can quickly go change the units as well. So once I hit confirm, okay, it's all updated. So let's go 5 meters first cut. You can control each wall of that cut as well. So let's say the C wall, you want to have vertical short, while B, A, and D, you want to have backfilled and sloped. You can choose to do that. I'm gonna hit done. Same idea, going to the next milestone, and this is where I'm gonna create my another cut. And once I create this cut, I can easily view it. Maybe this time I don't want any of my walls to be sloped. I want to have it 10 meters deep. I can choose to do that. If it's a different soil profile, you want to depict a different phase of excavation cut, you can change the colors as well. Let's bridge the gap. Let's change the ramp over here. I can add a ramp. We can add both parametric and positive or negative ramps. And once that is done, as you see, as you're building up these sequences in the excavation, you can always pull up these compact volumes and loose volumes chart over here. So it's going to give you those volumes. You can apply soil factor. It will adjust the calculation. So based on those sketches in the excavation that you're doing per operation, per cut, fill or ramp, it will give you the volumes it's taking out or adding to the site if it's in the case of fills. So it's very useful. You can export out of cmBuilder as a CSV in Excel, and then you can use it for truck volumes or estimating purposes. And this is essentially where I mentioned that if you do have, like an updated topography or let's say contour line drawing, please, we have users using it for updating the topography. And once you have done that, the excavation volumes are being calculated from the top layer, from the top elevation of the map. So it's going to give you a much better, much more accurate data once you have adjusted the topography if you want to do that. So it's always useful when you're working with those workflows. So while we're on excavation, a lot of time, shoring different equipments over there, geotechnical equipment. So let's say I'm going to use this wood lag and soldier pile, and it's a polyline tool. I can draw a polyline, and that resource is going to show up, and I can adjust based off my drawing what's the length and the height of that resource. And now I have this just shoring over here. Now, what if instead of this wood lagging, you want to have, let's say, concrete lagging or a regular secant pile, like options, different options, optioneering. So the way we tackle options inside cmBuilder, going back to this project that I created initially, inside a project, we have a concept of scenarios, and think of scenarios as a way of like just planning your job in here. So you can have many different scenarios under the same project. And these scenarios would just mean exactly whether you want to have maybe a secant pile, or do you want to have, a concrete lagging. So you can work in these different scenarios, one crane, one height scenario versus two crane scenario. And that's how you work with under the same project, you can have these different scenarios, and and these can be easily duplicated over here. And it's you can have as many scenarios as you want under a project. So going back to this project, let's say the next milestone, and this is where I will start talking about how you can start working with the 3D models. Now, one thing I would mention, like once you're working with these 3D models, depending on where you're getting these models from, you can manually upload the models right from in cmBuilder. You just have to upload a file, or you can use one of our integrations, which is Autodesk Construction Cloud. So we have this ACC integration, and it's very useful. Like if you're working with those ACC files, and directly from there, you can import and sync those models directly inside cmBuilder. So if I go into this Documents tab, you will see you will have this integration, and you can see you can pull all these models from ACC directly inside cmBuilder. And it's not just importing models from ACC; it's all about also syncing the versions of the model. So if you have, let's say, a version 2 of a model in ACC, cmBuilder will be able to tell you, in this case, you can see that, hey, this is an outdated model in cmBuilder, but there's a new version available. All you have to do is just say, hey, sync model from integration, and now you'll have the latest and the greatest model imported in cmBuilder. So that's what this ACC integration does. We also do have Procore integration. It's very popular in the North American market. But yeah, ACC, it's very useful if you do have models, and you'll be able to utilize those models from ACC in cmBuilder. Okay, so let's look at, once you have the models in here inside cmBuilder, how you can utilize them. So you will get the same tree structure that you would have in the native source file, uh, wherever that model has been authored. So let's say I have the tree over here. I'm on my foundation pour. What I have to do is to show those elements, all I have to do is just go to the tree and say, hey, I want these foundation elements to begin from this milestone. And once you do that, those elements gonna show up in the viewer. And that's pretty much it. Use a simple linking, sequencing of the elements of the 3D models to the dates to these milestones. And once you have shown, you care about, okay, what are the means and methods you need in order to execute the phase. So here, I can go about, I need a concrete pump truck over here. Let's drag and drop a concrete pump truck. Now, if you look at this concrete pump truck, it's a very unique resource. It's quite a lot of different parametric handles show up over here. So what that means, I can control the outrigger width. I can control where exactly my, the angles, the boom arm over here. I can see I'm rotating this, whether it will be able to make the ports or not. I can change the rotation for this boom arm for. And all these numbers, they're all coming from manufacturer spec sheet. So every equipment that has a manufacturer spec sheet in the catalog, we use the same spec sheet to make these resources parametric. So in this case, I can see it's a Lion 61M model. These are the boom parameters. These are the pump parameters. So you're working with real world resources. These are not just any generic 3D models. You're working with real world to scale, built to spec resources. And that's pretty much goes with all the equipment, be it cranes, mobile cranes. As you can see in the catalog, we have 125 fixed cranes, 167 mobile cranes in here. And say in this phase, I also want to talk about my traffic management when my concrete trucks are coming on site. So let's add a couple of concrete trucks first. So I can search in the catalog. I have this 11-yard concrete truck mixer. And again, once I'm placing them on the map, you can color code them. Say all the red trucks coming in. Depends if you're subbing this part of the job or if you would be carrying out yourself. You can color code and plan ahead. All the red trucks coming on that day belong to you. If it does, you can also apply some branding there as well. And let's copy paste quickly, duplicate another object. And these trucks, for example, you can go very deep. If I double click and hit adjust, you can go and adjust the different. You can see the direction of the chute as well. So, and a lot of users, they try to have fun. They would always say, "Hey, this is almost like SimCity but built for construction." So, yeah, you are creating a digital twin of exactly what your site is going to look like. Traffic management, as I mentioned, we have these safety equipments up here, like different signages. So let's say if I want to apply a water barrier over here, I can select the resource. It's a polyline resource, and it looks like you will be occupying a part of the street. So I'm delineating a part of the street. Okay, this is my heavy equipment area, and maybe I don't want any overlaps over there. Flaggers or marshals, you can have them like a traffic marshal or stop sign worker, or how many workers you're going to be needing. And at the end, I'm going to show you with a single click, you can spit out an Excel that gives you a quantity. So here, I just added this resource, this worker over here. And if you want to go very detailed, you can even apply branding even on the helmets and the widths. So you can have some fun, and you can also have some details. So imagine going in a tender meeting with this level of details. So you can go have those details in here as well. Now, as you're adding these resources, what you can also do is there's a direct logical link between these resources and to the dates at the top. So what I mean by that is I can quickly lasso select these objects, right click edit, and there's a simple from and to logic. I can say all these equipments, I want them to show up in my foundation pour, and I want them to leave in the same foundation pour. And once I do that, I'm gonna hit done. If I go into the next milestone, which is my podium level, I won't see those equipments anymore. So they were there in the previous milestone, but not there in the next one. So it's a simple logic and way of showing stuff that comes to your site and leaves the site. So it's a very easy way to define when they're coming and leaving. So same idea, going to the next milestone here, I do have my 3D model. Going to the tree, I can show my podium level, begin from this milestone. Pretty simple. And going to the last one, maybe I want to show the rest of the building over here. And I can say, hey, maybe my rest of the tower begin from this milestone. Now, this is something that I've been doing with the help of the tree. We all know the tree is not always the best organized uh, way you always might get the model. So there are a couple other ways how you can sequence the model elements directly from the viewer. So instead of using the tree, you can also lasso select these elements in the viewer. And once you have selected, you can go to edit model element, and there is a simple from and to logic there as well. You can define, I want these elements to show up in my X milestone and have them leave in the Y milestones. And to help you with that even further, we do have this sequencing color mode, and it's very helpful when you're working with those 3D models. So think of green indicates current, blue means in the past, yellow means future. So it will indicate what part of the model is being sequenced to what milestone or sequenced to what date. And a good application over here, let's say if you're bringing in new models, your model is getting updated. By the way, which you can always do that. So as I mentioned about ACC, if you have a newer version, you can always update the model from there, or at any time you can go to your 3D model and click update with new model. So let's say you have a new updated model. So once you bring that new model in here, you will have some new elements, but those new elements, they don't know yet where they need to go and what dates they need to be assigned or sequenced. So that's where this color sequencing mode comes in handy. So, any new element coming in, they will be highlighted as red, and you will instantly know, okay, these are new elements, and then you can go and sequence them to the respective dates. So that's how this sequencing mode helps you to understand where you are at any moment. Um, Crane planning, quite useful, very, very common, and it doesn't have to be very complex. So all you do, just go search for the kind of cranes you want to use, all named brands available in the catalog. You can also filter by the different types and the capacities of the cranes here as well. Let's say I'm going to pick the Favel Luffer crane over here. I can drag and drop, simple on the map. Instantly, I realize, no, this is not the crane suitable for this job. I can use the swap feature. You can swap a resource And maybe I'm just gonna go with the tower crane. I'm gonna pick this JSO 560. You click swap, and what it does is retains the position, but it's gonna remove the previous resource and it replace that with a new crane. Now I can go extend, figure out where my hooks are, what's the tower height, and all these numbers. Again, this maximum jib length, allowable jib length over here is 85.5 meters. So that's again coming from the spec sheet. So these are all real world to build scale resources following manufacturer's spec sheet. You can follow the load chart capacities when you're working with the cranes. You can turn on the resource coverage envelopes as well. And here is where I can double click, go in a 2D mode. I can spend some time define exactly this coverage, the crane coverage. I can see it's intersecting with the neighboring building, and I can move the crane whether I want the crane in the footprint of the building or I want it outside. Do I need a single tower crane or do I need two cranes over here? So that's sort of it gets pretty quick and easy to communicate in this visual format when you're working with these crane planning workflows. So to sum it up, if you notice, so far what we have done, we just have a quick sequence over here. So it's starting from scratch. So we're using milestones. We're using your drawings, your 3D models to sequence these different stages. You're, placing resources. You're defining the dates to those resources over here, and more or less, what it only thing remaining now is about, okay, how do you consume and how do you share the work that you're creating, that you're preparing your logistics plan? How do you prepare that, the output, the final presentation? So a lot of times users are using this in tenders and early stage pre-con planning, and it's all about communicating in 3D, and it gets way easier, and you find a lot of new insights when you're sharing in the form of 3D format in those presentations. So for that, we have a dedicated presentation and markup tool that allows you to build these creative presentation workflows. So think of easiest way to understand is that every single milestone, it already has a default presentation slide, and inside a presentation slide, now you can add any extra information. So say in this one, I want to add a call out pertaining to this crane. Say crane swing review is still pending, and this is what I want to communicate when I'm sharing this presentation to the owners. Maybe once I hit done, I can also save a view. Like I can capture any angle. Maybe this is what the view I want to show to the owners when I'm on this milestone. You hit capture angle, it's just going to take a screenshot and save that in this presentation slide. And that's the same step you would do to prepare your storyboard end to end. So maybe in the second last milestone in this slide, maybe I want to show more something over here, hit capture angle. Maybe a slide prior to that, I want to show more close-up look, like a zoomed in view of where my traffic management, how that's going to look like. So something like this. And the whole point of these presentation slides, as the name suggests, you're ready to present. So when you click on those presentations, it's going to take you to that view instantly. You click on the slides, it's going to take you to that view, and that's how you have like this story and end-to-end that you can create on your end. So switching back to the finished one, this is what I've shared initially. So you get the idea. You're creating these milestones. You're showing different stages, but how you can ready to be shared is you click the share button at the top, and there are many different ways for you to share and consume the outputs. As I mentioned, resource QTO. So if you click that, it's going to spit out an Excel with a list of all the quantities, all your porta potties, your trailers. It's a very easy way of giving you the count of all the resources that you have placed on the map. So it's going to give you that. You can export a presentation video. So based on the work that you've done over here, you can export a video out of it, and you can use it on your marketing site. The presentation slides, they can be batch exported in PNG format, 4K, or you can even go up to 16K high-res images, high-res files over here. So a good example of like images, think of like at the end, you can export 30, 40 different images showing different part of your project, communicating that. So, and this was a good example where they had this complex reshoring and anchor system, and the owner asked the question prior, like, why were you in the hole for 9 months? But it was simple use case, simple way of just explaining, because of this, it's a complex project squished between two buildings, the deliveries involved, and all that, this complex record system. So it's very easy to get communication done once you're telling that story quickly and effectively across the team. So this is what, like 30, 40 images you can export at the end of your job. But by far, the most popular has been this live link. So I can easily go create a presentation mode link, generate that link, and send that over to any user. So I'm actually going to copy this link and paste in the chat. So the users over here, they can feel free to click the link and open it there. And so the way it works, once you share the link with anyone, they're gonna open it in the browser. You don't need to have cmBuilder access. All you need to do is just click play, and then it's gonna start playing the entire sequence all by itself. So this almost looks like a video, but I'll show you. It's even better than a video. It's almost playing continuously. It's showing the dates at the top and the names of the milestones. This timeline view, it's a nice presentation style view at the bottom. You can view exactly where your where your project is. And but the biggest differentiator, as opposed to like a static video in this case, at any moment you can hit that pause at the bottom left corner, and now you can just pan around, you can zoom in, you can zoom out. So it's a much better way of exploring and interacting with this viewer, 3D 360 viewer style of your job. So it's very intuitive. You can directly interact, validate the owners, the viewers. They can see where things are or the equipments are staged. So it's a good view of like showing and exploring your logistics plan. And if I hit play, it's gonna start keep playing the entire sequence, just the way you have sequenced it. And if I fast forward to maybe some of the final milestones, we do have an animation feature in the product as well. So you can have like cars moving, people walking. You can also have excavators showing the movement of the arms. So this is like an example, like an occupancy phase at the end. And you can show, it's a very good output presentation view to show exactly, okay, how and your site is going to look like. You apply these different zones. Everything what you see up here was done inside cmBuilder. So we're trying to get there in the browser. You can see this presentation view. It was quickly, this project, if I tell you, was done in a day's time. And you can come up here and quickly create these presentations in day less than a day with an output qualities like this. So that's what the final presentation view is going to look like. I did show an example over here with the 3D model involved. Now you don't need to have a 3D model mandatory. It's always nice to have. It's much more data. It's much more details in there. But if you can also something have like this, we can start with these massing blocks to show a representation of your building or what it's going to look like. You can always use the massing tool to quickly mass out a volume of your building and still be able to place the cranes and the hoist in the right position, plan those out, and do everything what I showed today. You can share a video out of this as well. So having a 3D model is great, is always helpful, but you can also use massing as an example. And I'm going to share now a couple examples to show some examples over here. So by the way, this project that I'm going to share was done by a user very new to the industry, estimator, no BIM or no CAD background, and he was able to create an output. Of course, we helped them, but this is what the final output presentation of like a video it can look like. Starting off showing the different uh, excavators, they're all animated. What part of the street is being blocked, fencing, your pump equipment over there as you're pouring concrete over there, what your site is going to look like. Also in this case, they were able to show the delivery of the crane, and then with this the boom uh, uh, animated as well. And so these were concrete and formwork contractors, so they wanted to show the jump of that formwork equipment, and also at the same time the slabs and the concrete slabs and the formwork as well, and all, as well as the tarp net, the safety net that you can see. So with the help of the 3D models, you can have a very quick sequence you can create, and it's not too complex about sequencing in here. And safety is also a very, very big portion. So in this one, we did work like trying to show you can have these Docker systems installed. I know safety is quite a big thing. And then these nets over here, like catch nets or safety debris, mesh shade, cloth screen net over here, showing overhead protection. So this is also all coming in from the cmBuilder catalog. And yeah, so you can have all this built directly in the browser to show exactly what your overall plan is going to look like. Again, if there are any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. Uh, Not only like today I showed you the example of the vertical build, but you also have this is an example of a bridge project. And by the way, when I say you can also bring in your mesh or just the topography. So this is a good example of showing how you bring in exactly that Google mesh and adjusting the terrain, the topography, the symbol, the terrain to show exactly how that's going to look like. So you can see that same view, how that's going to, and they can build on top of this with your, like this is your poles and different equipments, how they all are going to behave. And if I keep playing, okay, doing all the work over here, and then the other side of the job, and showing these equipments up here, safety equipment up there as well. So you can also build these horizontal jobs, not only just vertical ones, but yeah, most of our users, it's trying to tackle a variety kind of jobs. It's all about logistics, quick, simple, easy. Come here, create these plans. And it doesn't need, you don't need to have a very technical background or BIM experience in order to create these overall plans. So right at the market about 6:45. I know I don't want to take too much time, but I'm gonna pause there for any kind of questions. And again, feel free to pop them in the Q&A section, or you can use the chat as well. Or if you want to use, I can. You can also ask a question. You can use your mics, so you can use your mics which are turned on for your case. This is an example where trying to show uh, scaffolding workers on the mobile crane. Um, so any kind of jobs can be used with the scissor lift. Any, if you're occupying overhead protection, if you're occupying any lane closures or the sidewalks. So you can use those equipments from the cmBuilder from the library as well. Any questions or any comments? Okay, so we will send the recording, and we will send some more information on the product. And if you want to learn more, you can at any time you can head to our website. Our website is cmbuilder.io. There's a lot of information, good information on the website, and that's where I'm going to talk next about is the pricing. So all of our pricing is transparent. It's there on the website, and also talk a little bit about our support and training side of things. So the way it works in terms of pricing, we have three plans: standard, premium, and enterprise. So standard is just under 5,000 US dollars for the full year. And by the way, all these plans, they're all cater unlimited users. There's no per seat licensing concept. It's all unlimited users. It's an enterprise platform. You can onboard your entire company in here. So standard, as I mentioned, just under 5,000. It has everything that you need to prepare these 3D, 4D logistics plans. You start with 5 active projects, but you can archive as many as you want. So it's all unlimited archive. So standard just under 5,000, premium is just under 9,000, and what you're getting more value over here for what you're paying higher is custom branding. So you can have logos on different equipments, unlimited resource request. Technically, we will still do the resource request for standard users as well. And going back to also this resource request, like if you come across that in the library you're not able to find any equipment, this is what the resource request is going to look like. You can come up here, you can ask us any resource and say, hey, I want to use that XYZ crane. I cannot find in the catalog. We'll just build it for you. It's free. There's no cost. It comes with that subscription fee that I was showing over there. And normally it takes a day or two for us to add in the catalog, and it's free, and it's parametric, so you can use it on your end. So that's what this resource request for premium and enterprise. Just we prioritize the premium and enterprise customers, but even if you're on standard, we will still make that resource for you. And the last thing in the premium is about textures catalog. So remember I showed you these textures that you can apply on the zones. So different grass, asphalt. So think of premium as just enhances and elevates that output presentation quality and that you have up there. So that's pretty much what's a premium. If you're going and thinking about pursuits or tenders, you want to have a nice presentation quality, that's where you would go and pick premium. So standard 5,000, premium 9,000. Enterprises, everything is unlimited. It's we support a lot of, and it's all a negotiated price. So it's like for multi-company tenant management, regional cloud data hosting in there, dedicated enterprise support. So that's what enterprise is. And if you're wondering that training and support, it's all free and included and unlimited with this any of these packages. And the way we do is like we typically start with we ask you pick a project that you want to begin with in cmBuilder, and we will train you. So we have our own implementation and training plan. So normally it takes 2 to 3 sessions. Think of 3 1-hour sessions. We would ask you to give us your time, and we will train you with your project, your choice of project. And in those 3 hours, these are hand-holding sessions. We train you, and you have a deliverable at the end of those 3 hours. But after that, it's all on ad hoc basis. So if you need any help after those initial onboarding implementation sessions, at any time you can go to this question mark, you click book support session. So if it's a new user, even at your end in your company, you can always go book onboarding right from there, or book a support session. If it's like a small a question, you can pick a time right from there, right from the app. So we have allowed the users to this flexibility and ease quickly be able to access us. So we are very accessible. We are very passionate about training and support. I showed you initially, we have this support center right in the app. So it's our knowledge base where you can search in there. Let's say if I type in Revit, it's going to pull up some pages from Revit, how you can export a model, a 3D model from Revit. Click here, click there. So these are good textile and images and videos. And speaking of videos, we have our own list of initial tutorial videos. So these are on YouTube. These are small 3 to 7 minute videos. You can go watch them. How do you create a project? How do you bring in a drawing? How do you create milestones? How do you work with the resources, zones, excavation? So we got good feedback, and users always benefit from watching this before embarking. So, self-directed training materials always in there. But if you need any help, you can also use the chat option right from the app. So we have a dedicated chat, and thankfully it's still a human chat, it's not a bot. So anytime if you ping us, you will hear from one of our support agents in 5 to 10 minutes. And yeah, if you need like a quick help, hey, can we get on a quick call? And that's where you can book these support sessions, you can book these teams call sessions, and this is all included and unlimited part of your subscription. So standard, premium. If you want to add more than 5 active projects, you can also add them for a prorated. It's a 3,000 US dollars for the full year, but it's a prorated amount. So let's say you start with standard or premium, and in 6 months' time you find, oh, I'm growing out of the 5 active projects. You can always say, hey, I want to add an additional pack and make it 10 active projects. So you only pay $1,500, and now you have total 10 active projects on your end. So yeah, It's billed annually. It's unlimited users. You just pay one fee, and we throw the whole kitchen sink at you, and you go and use in there. That's more or less I intended to show and talk about the product. We will share some more information following this meeting, and where you can learn more about the product. We do, by the way, held monthly user workshops. So if you want to get a taste of it, you can always go to our website, click these workshops, and we always pick some very nice movie references to based on what these workshops are based on. And this is like our, uh, like a cmBuilder community. We get together, we learn about some of the new features of the product, and yeah, we also try to have some fun. We show you the latest and the greatest. It's all web based. Every other Monday you'll be probably getting some new features and updates. So there's no concept, because it's web based. There's no concept of waiting for an update. It's just like Tesla. You always have the latest and greatest of the product when you're working in here. So yeah, there's lots of materials, resources on our website. You can go check them out, uh, and you can. There's a video on our website as well. I'm gonna pause there for any questions on the product. Meanwhile, I'm gonna just play this. This is a good presentation showing the output, what you can expect as your overall plans. But yeah, if any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. You can also animate these different objects, and the animation, it's very simple and easy to do. You can have like vehicles moving, different. You can also show the movement of these resources over there as well. And it's pretty straightforward. We now have these are like baked in templates that you can use in the cmBuilder platform. Maybe one last thing before we jump out is we can show how the animation would work. So here, for example, if I were to draw a path, or if I were to show how the trucks are coming in, I can quickly, let's go, you know, add a path in there. Let's say I'm going to add a 3D line defining what the path of the truck's going to look like. And then you can also just simply add a resource. Let's say I'm going to add a dump truck, and then you add a truck over there. And we have some pre-baked templates. You can pick the swept path, and the truck is going to just start following, whatever path you drew in there. So it's a pretty straightforward way of animating different objects inside cmBuilder. So I'm going to pause there. Thank you very much for joining, and we will send some information post this meeting. And if there are any questions, you'll have our contact details. You can reach out to us. And thanks again for joining, and hope you have all a very nice, lovely day.